This is a Flying Cow production.
Well, hello and welcome to Movie Battles, specifically the preview special for Movie Battles FallOut. That's right, a big summer event for Movie Battles. Movie Battles FallOut. I am so excited to be bringing Movie Battles FallOut to everyone watching. We are going to have three big matches. And when I say big, I am not over exaggerating. Every single one of these matches are huge with huge implications. Really, really excited about this event. But I am not here alone. No, I have here with me today Dr. Megs, Megan McCurley, and the elk himself, Andrew Kelk. How are we doing today, you two?
I'm doing great. Excited for this event. This is the next biggest thing we've done since FallOut at the end of last season. So I'm excited to kick off the summer season with a really cool event and some really amazing matches.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Andrew, this is your first big event with Movie Battles. How you feeling about this?
Well, you know, I've said it many, many times. The only thing more thrilling than getting to spend some time with me, the elk, is, of course, me, the elk, getting to spend a little bit of time with all of you out there. I am over the moon that I get to enjoy FallOut from the desk, call a couple of matches, watch these great competitors go head-to-head, face-to-face, and maybe come away with a very important victory. As you said, there's no small matches in FallOut. We've got number one contenders. We've got a championship match coming your way. I mean, all across the board, this is going to be a heck of a show, made all the better, of course, by this wonderful crew right here. We're all going to be there, and I know we're going to have a good time.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm just so excited about this. I think it's time that we go ahead and get right into the discussion of these matches for FallOut. Just like Movie Battles Blowout, FallOut will be rolling out one match a day for a series of 3 days. We've got three big matches. So the first match debuting on July 5th, the day after the 4th, is going to be the number one contendership, the King, Caleb Coho, taking on the rookie sensation, the Dream Worker, Cameron Holzman. These two have been tearing it up recently. They both are on a 3-game winning streak. Caleb had a couple of losses before that. Cameron is brand new. He is still undefeated, but these two, I mean, I have no idea what's going to happen here. This is so exciting. Putting these two against each other, like I said, they're both on a run. Caleb wanting to redeem himself, and Cameron wanting to keep that undefeated streak going. Megan, how do you feel about this match?
So I feel like this is just going to come down to the wire, but I have to say, I was looking back through their records, and yeah, Caleb's been on a win streak this season, but Cameron also has not played under 90% accuracy since he started.
Yeah.
So just staying within that 90 to 100% all across his gameplay, very consistent play, sitting there with his 2 TKOs on his record. So it's going to be tough to topple him at this point, but I think Caleb has the ability to do it. It's just going to come down to the questions.
Yeah, I mean, we have definitely seen that Caleb has the ability. He has pulled out some tough matches in the past. And I mean, he's got a point. Like his first match was against Kelly. We all see what she has done. So it's really hard, to do much against that. And then his second loss was against Lauren, who was on fire in the tournament last season. The underdog king, just came out of nowhere. And then his only other loss has been against Nazario, who also seemed to be on a bit of a run at the beginning of this season. Didn't quite get to the championship match, but he was really strong in those first few matches.
Absolutely.
And yeah.
And in that match against Nazario, he faced opponent's choice with Muppets, which was, and it was very early in the season, so the competitors didn't have a whole lot of time to really get underneath those Muppet films if you weren't already familiar with them. So he faced a bit of an uphill battle in that loss to Nazario to begin with. So definitely a tough one there, but coming back strong the rest of this season. So again, Cameron's got a bit of the stats advantage there, but I wouldn't discount Caleb.
Yeah, absolutely.
I gotta say,
yeah.
No, I was just going to say, I have to agree about these competitors. I mean, I know we're talking about movie battles here, and it's a great program, but I've been involved in a little bit of this movie trivia myself for a while, way back in the day. I've seen not just one, but both of these competitors in the ring outside of movie battles as well. And neither one of them is one to be slept on. Caleb has had some amazing matches, pulled some great answers as far back as when I first met him in the movie trivia face-off. And I think that what we're going to see here is going to be a real back and forth battle. Not the kind of match I think we're going to see a TKO or a KO happening in, because these guys are coming in, they're excited, they're ready to go. And as mentioned already, records for at least one of these competitors, not reflective, very, very tough competition. Caleb forged in fire. And I really do think that we might see some surprising results out of Caleb if you're just looking at that record so far.
Yeah, I mean, actually, that's a really good point you bring up, Andrew, because something I haven't even thought of until just now is, much like Kelly, Cameron has yet to have to answer a 5-point question. In fact, I don't think he's answered a 3-point question yet. I think the furthest he's gone in round 3 is that 2-pointer. I think that was only the once, because
it was the one match against Diaz. He had to answer his 2-pointer, and that was all.
Yeah. And he has TKO'd his other 2 opponents. So I agree with you. I do not think this is going to be a TKO on either side. I think that at the very least, we will probably see Cameron pushed farther than he's been pushed before. And, what comes up on the other side of that, we don't know. But I think it is time for us to go ahead and make our picks for this match. So, Megan, I'm going to throw it over to you first, because I mean, you've been kind of beating around the bush a little bit, but I feel pretty confident as to who you're picking.
So I am definitely a numbers girl. And at this point, the numbers are definitely in Cameron's favor. So I am going to give him the advantage in this match. But again, I definitely agree with what both of you have said so far. This is not going to be an easy win for him. I definitely see this going into that 3rd round, and it's going to be a good test for him to see how he does when you get into those deeper 3, maybe 5-point questions.
Absolutely. Andrew, what's your perspective here on this match?
Well, I mean, I can't completely disagree about the pick from Megan, because as mentioned, very, very impressive stats coming to this match. That accuracy number cannot be ignored. And I may say, and you may say, no 3-pointers, no 5-pointers so far. But you know what's real impressive to me when I'm looking at a match? A TKO is real impressive to me. Maybe you don't have to get to that final question because you played so hard and so well. That being said, I know we're going to have a great matchup. I predict that the desk work is going to be great on that match for sure. But I also want to throw this out there. Caleb is the underdog. Caleb is coming in as the person that I'm guessing most people are not predicting to win. And sometimes you can sit on top for a long time. You can ride the wave, take the glory, and just stay there for quite a while. But even the greatest competitors do occasionally fall from those lofty heights. And I personally think that with the hunger inside, with those losses that were so close, so deep into the matchup, Caleb is going to come here fired up and ready to go. I'm going to have to go with Caleb on this one.
Yeah, I mean, Caleb's definitely, of the two of them, he is definitely the one coming in with something to prove. Because like I said, he faltered early, and he has had his eye on that championship since the moment he set foot in Movie Battles. He really wants not only a title match, but he wants a rematch against Kelly because he thinks that he has what it takes to take her down. But when we talk about Cameron, you know, like I said, I mentioned the fact that he hasn't gone to a 3-pointer. He hasn't gone to a 5-pointer. He is currently undefeated in his first 3 matches. And when you say those stats of the competitors in this league, who does that sound the most like? Kelly. Sounds like Kelly. Now, not saying that he's necessarily going to go on the run that Kelly has, but he's looking pretty impressive to this point and looking like he has the legs to, at the very least, get to a championship match. I do believe that Caleb can get there at some point. I even believe that he can win it at some point. But I think that this is Cameron's time. I'm calling Cameron. All right. So
I'd be surprised either way, but
yeah. All right. So that is the number 1 contenders match. And so that brings us to the second match. And I got to say, this one was up in the air for a little bit. I mean, we're starting with a number 1 contenders match. How can it get bigger than that, right? Well, I will tell you, because the second match of Movie Battles Fallout will be an Iron Woman match, the first ever Iron Woman match for Movie Battles between the Chartmaster Hannah Kiefer and Nikki the Nova Baldwin. Obviously, these two competitors are no strangers to each other. They had 2 fantastic championship matches back to back last season to kick off Movie Battles itself. Obviously, Nikki was the champion, the first champion, defeated Hannah twice. So you would think that Nikki would be the obvious favorite in this match. However, if you look at their most recent history with each other, the last match that they were in together was a triple threat match against Kelly. And while both of them came up on the short end of the stick, Hannah actually outlasted Nikki in that match. Now, obviously, Kelly's presence not withstanding, but that looks like, had it just been the two of them, Kelly or Hannah might have pulled out that match, might have pulled out that win. So that is another thing to throw in there. There's also the fact that historically, Hannah is a little bit stronger in round ones than Nikki has been. And the Iron Woman match is pretty much all round one. So, but, Hannah also has her weaknesses that she has made clear to everyone. Certain films that she just refuses to watch at this point. But so it really is a toss-up here. I mean, Megan, how do you see this match?
Yeah, Again, this one could go a couple different ways because, yeah, it's very true that Hannah definitely has her weak points that Nikki could capitalize on and get ahead. It's going to depend on where the match questions fall, where those things land for them. But just in general, when you're looking at them, overall accuracy, Hannah's at 84, Nikki's sitting at 82, so very close there. When you look at rounds 1 and 2 specifically for accuracy there, Hannah sits at 81 and Nikki sits at 75. So a little bit more of a gap gets opened up there in that rounds 1 and 2 between the two of them. But again, it's going to come down, I think, to who's going to hit the questions in their strengths at the strategic and appropriate times when you're dealing with an Iron Man or an Iron Woman situation.
Yep. And Andrew, here you are, your first big event, already have an Iron Woman ahead of you. What are your thoughts about this?
Well, I first and foremost just want to say that this is a level of competition. And you said, how do you go up from a number one contendership match? I would say an Iron Man or an Iron Woman match, perhaps in honor of the MCU, we'll call it the Pepper Potts match of the show. We've got two people who are going to have to go in there and not just perform in movie trivia. They're going to have to perform consistently and under a lot of pressure. When you step into a match like this, my biggest worry as a competitor, where I going into it, would be falling behind at some point, because it's always so easy in a movie trivia battle to get inside your own head. Somebody pulls even a 3 or a 4 point lead halfway through the match, and now you're racing to catch up. The pressure is on. You're coming from behind. That's why I think Hannah has a real good opportunity here. As you mentioned with those statistics, percentage-wise, a little bit ahead coming into this matchup. Not a lot, but if that difference is that 3 points early, and the wrong categories don't come up, Hannah could put the pressure on, and that pressure could be what cracks Nikki in this matchup.
Could be. Yeah, I mean, you bring up an interesting point. For those people who aren't familiar with the Iron Match concept, it is not a typical match format. It is really just one round. And basically it is a 30-minute match, and it's just constant questions. Things change up in the last 2 minutes. Things will go a little faster. It's possible to lose points, things like that. But it is, like I said, it's very much a round one match. So the question really is going to be, like I said, in the past, maybe Hannah was a little stronger with that. But if she gets the wrong categories, maybe she gets a lot of those movies that she won't watch. That might be what does her in. But going into picks, let's go ahead and let's get this started with Andrew. Who are you picking in this match?
Well, as I said, Iron Man, Iron Woman, whatever you have, when it's this sort of a matchup, the real key is consistency. The key is avoiding that pressure and potentially taking that early lead to put the pressure back on your opponent. Because if they start chasing you in the back half of the match, that's where mistakes can happen. That's where those points can be lost, and you can fall even further behind. With that in mind, as much as I do love an underdog sometimes, I'm going to have to go with the stats on this one. I'm going to have to say, if Hannah really is going to pull 5%, 3%, even that small percentage away as far as answering questions correctly, particularly in a round one style format, I think that's going to be the decision maker, and Hannah will potentially take that lead and use that momentum in order to stay on top through the rest of the matchup. I'm going with Hannah on this one.
I gotta say, it's odd to paint the former champion Nikki the Nova Baldwin as the underdog in this, but I mean, like we said, stats wise, yeah, I mean, it might be, you never know. But Megan, what are your thoughts here?
So looking at the numbers is definitely good, but you definitely have to take into consideration the type of the format. And as was said before, it's, if you get behind, it could be tough to fight your way back. But also, for me, looking at this, I've also watched both these competitors since the beginning here. I just have a feeling, I'm actually going to go possibly against my numbers here, I'm going to go with Nikki. She's going to come in. She's going to be not as much to lose here. Hannah has been up to the top. She's gotten the best. So she's coming in as potentially the favorite. Nikki's just coming in. She's going to just try and hammer it out, try and keep this momentum going. And again, if the questions fall her way, I think she could very easily get on top, stay there, and just keep hammering it out and stay consistent and not get in her own head and not lose that mental edge that I think she might have coming into this match.
Yeah, I mean, obviously in one-on-one matches, Hannah has never beaten Nikki. The only place where she has gotten close, like I said, was in that triple threat. But you break down even those first two matches, it came down to sudden death. And I'm going to tell you that match was even closer than it seemed. Having been on the opposite side of the desk, that match, we were within a hair's breadth of Hannah being our first champion. And that second match, Hannah was literally 2 consonants away from pushing Nikki to her 5. These two have always been so close and so neck and neck. And now you put this in an arena because we have always said that one of Nikki's biggest strengths, she knows how to play the game. She knows how to play the game. And the game, there is some gamesmanship in this, but it's not nearly as prevalent as it is in a typical 3-round structure. So this is a lot more just knowledge. And I mean, even in knowledge, they are literally points, decimal points away from each other. So it's really hard to call. But I do think that we're going to see a reversal. I think that we are going to see Hannah pull out her first win against Nikki. I'm calling Hannah for this match. I mean, obviously it could be either one of them, but I think Hannah's going to take it.
Absolutely. And I love both these competitors so much. It's been so cool to watch them play. So I think I would be happy for either one of them. So, but my heart had to go with somebody here. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, you have a former champion and you have a perennial contender. I just want to make absolutely clear, you've seen the decisions from us here, our predictions about these matchups, and we are split on these matchups. The reason isn't because we can't make that decision. It's not because we don't have the information in front of us. It is because these matches really are just that close. This Iron Woman match is going to come down to maybe the person who blinks first, more of a game of chicken than anything else. And I think either outcome is pretty close to equally likely, just like these competitors are pretty close to each other in stats. I would not be surprised to see it go either way, though I am happy, at least on this second one, to be on the right side of the 2-3 predictions. I was real worried there for a second.
Yeah, I'm not going to leave you out completely in the cold there, Andrew. All right. So that means that we have one match left. The final match dropping on July 7th, Thursday, is going to be the championship match between Little Boat, Caleb Boatman, and the reigning, defending, undefeated, undisputed Disney Pixar Movie Battles champion, Mad Madam Kelly Meehan. Now, I mean, this match, pretty much most of the time that you say anyone against Kelly, most people are going to say Kelly's going to win. Even the majority of our competitors would say Kelly's going to win. In fact, at previous times, her current competitor might have said Kelly's going to win. But recently, Caleb has adopted a bit of a, I don't know what to say, a new attitude, more of maybe the attitude that was there has just evolved. But Caleb is on a mission right now. And obviously going into this match, he is 2-2. Kelly is 8-0, undefeated. But as we have discussed with Caleb before, his record absolutely does not show his ability in this game. The 2 matches that he has won have both been knockouts, straight up knockouts, not TKOs, knockouts. His only 2 wins have been knockouts, and his only losses both have come on 5-pointers. So razor thin. He loses by the narrowest of margins, and he wins by the largest of margins. So do not count Boatman out in this match. Obviously, Kelly's accolades are, we have said them, we will say them several times. She is currently not only on a winning streak, but a perfect streak. She has not missed a question since she started playing 5-round matches, which was 4 matches ago, I believe.
It's a 4-game streak, 98 questions answered correctly.
Yes, 98. So, yeah, pretty impressive, no matter who you're comparing her to. Absolutely impressive record there. And here's something that we haven't been pushing, is that she has already defended that title twice. If she defeats Boatman, she will have 3 defenses, which means that she will automatically get an automatic rematch if she ever loses. So she is getting in some pretty bulletproof territory here. However, like I said, she has never gone to a 5. She's only been pushed to the 3, I think maybe twice. You can probably correct me on that, Megan. But no more than twice. I know that. And she's never gone to the 5. And if anybody can push her to the 5, it is Boatman. And if anybody is proof that anybody can win or lose on the 5, it's Boatman.
Absolutely. And I can confirm that Kelly has just been pushed to the 3 twice. She's had to answer the 2-pointer on a total of 5 times. And again, never pushed to the 5. And since she's been in these 5-round match situations, she's only ever had to answer 2-pointers. So I do definitely agree that I think this is definitely going to be one of her closer matches, even though maybe on paper it doesn't look like it will be. Definitely when we look at Caleb or Boatman's performances, he's definitely one who has the potential to push into that territory. Yeah. It's going to come down to maybe even that 3rd and 4th round, though, too, because you have to deal with the betting round. You have to deal with the speed round. Those are things that Caleb has not had to deal with. Kelly now has dealt with them in spades. So there's definitely several different factors to think about. But again, you have to respect the fact that Kelly is on an impressive streak, but you don't sleep on the boat.
No, absolutely not. Andrew, what are your thoughts, kind of the outside perspective going into this match?
Well, I'm unfortunately not quite as familiar with the entire history of these competitors. I have been playing a little bit of catch up here, and I don't want to bury the lead. So what I want to start with is absolutely going to be Caleb, because Caleb, we talked about it. We say not representative, and we say that about competitors sometimes, but in this particular case, if you break it down to the pure numbers, to the kind of questions that you're answering, to the percentage of accuracy, Caleb is so much closer in this matchup than that record would reflect. literally, we're talking about a couple of points sometimes, and Caleb is an incredible competitor. You mentioned Caleb coming in, not a new attitude, maybe just more of the same, but that to me speaks about someone who has a fire, who's really burning to take the shot, and what a shot it is at the title, no less. There's a tough road ahead of Caleb because we have a dominant champion, so dominant that the only thing I can think to compare to is maybe the Patriots run back in the day in the Schmodown. This is the kind of performance you talk about when you talk about someone who's nearly 10 matches deep without a loss, somebody who has so many wins behind them. And you mentioned the experience as well. Kelly coming in with a lot of championship matches in movie battles. Caleb, not so much. I'm not going to look over Caleb, and I think Caleb has a great chance to do some damage to take that title away here. I'm not shutting that one out at all. But in the end, when you look at somebody with a record like Kelly has at the moment, I'm sorry, but perfect was a word we threw around a couple of times. And the hardest thing in the world to be is perfect. I myself have never been more than maybe 97% in anything. It's just not something you can stand up and do every single time. Will that pattern break? Hard to say when you're this deep in. Will Caleb be able to push all the way to the end and force those really difficult questions, those final rounders, that 3, that 5, the ones we talked about maybe being the only area where Kelly is lacking in the experience, definitely ahead in the other regards. I would love to see Caleb win this. And I think if we go deep into that final round, if we see that 5-point question come up, maybe the pendulum swings over to Caleb and the advantage really is there. Maybe I would pick Caleb in that case. But how do you bet against 8-0, the current champ, someone so dominant as Kelly has been? I don't know how you do it, and I don't think I can.
All right. Well, you opened it up. I will say we cannot forget that the reason that Caleb has this title match is because he won the elimination gauntlet. He eliminated all other competitors. He basically beat the entire league to get this match. And so yeah, you can't rule that out. But yeah, I think we should definitely go now into picks. And Andrew, because you've pretty much already made your pick, go ahead and start us off.
I mean, as I said, it's so hard. I am rooting for Caleb here. No bias against either competitor. Either one, no noble and worthy champion. Either one deserving of this position and of this win, and of course of that belt. But at the same time, it is near impossible for me to look at the numbers in front of me. When you see 8-0, you're talking about a football team that's already clinched the playoff in the first half of the season. You're talking about somebody who steps up and gets it done every single time. As I said, with the smallest of caveats, I think if you go to the end of that final round, if Caleb can make it all the way there or even come in with a lead, I think Caleb might just have the advantage. But I can't do it. I want to pick Caleb. In my heart of hearts, I think there's a feeling in there, but at the same time, I have to go with Kelly. Too dominant, too powerful. I think that's how this is going to shake out.
Right, Megan, do you see it any differently?
You know what? I would not at all be surprised at this point if Caleb were to be able to pull things out, but I have to go on the side of consistency. Kelly has been too consistent, too confident in every match she's been in. She's a sweetheart of a competitor. You would not think of her as cocky at all, but she is definitely confident in what she knows. And I think that it is, again, it's going to come down to the end. We're going to get pushed further into those 5 rounds than I think she has been before. But I think she has it in her to keep that going. And I think, though, Caleb is going to maybe try to get under her skin, she is going to stay cool, calm, and collected. And I think we will see her get her 3rd title defense.
Yeah, I mean, I got to say, it's tough. I mean, when you look at Kelly as a player, like we said, she hasn't missed a question since starting 5-round matches. She can miss. We know she's capable of missing. But even within that, even if she were to go perfect, she hasn't, her PPE hasn't been perfect. She has gone to multiple choice. She has skipped a couple of questions in the speed round. So it is possible to beat her. Really, really difficult, but possible. Because there are those little gaps. And so in order to beat her, a player would have to be, number one, a strong player. Number two, a strategic player in order to take advantage of those few gaps. And number three, incredibly lucky. Let's just be honest. They're going to have luck on their side. The question is Caleb all three of these things? We know he's a strong competitor. Absolutely, no doubt. And strategic, I'd give him that too. But if we're going for luck, I don't know if I'd call a 2-2 player lucky. You know, he has been 50-50 on the 5-pointer. He's only had to answer it twice. Once he answered it wrong and still lost. Once he answered it right, still lost. Once he answered it wrong and lost because of that. So once again, we have a player that has all of the tools to be the champion. But we also have Kelly Meehan. And it's just, you know, how do you choose against Kelly? So I'm with you guys. I've gotta be picking Kelly. I mean, I would, against anyone else, I would think Boatman getting blown out in a pick would be ridiculous. Mm-hmm. But it's Kelly. What are you gonna do? But I will say, hold on. Not again. Sup, losers? Oh, got to say though, wrong. Although I gotta say, an Elk, it's a pleasure meeting you, sir.
It's a true honor. You know, I've been watching for a while, and there is nothing that could be greater for someone like me who loves competitors, who loves that attitude, than to be here with a luminary in the world of movie trivia, the man himself, the Hammer. I'm just thrilled right now.
I have got to say, it is refreshing to meet someone of, what's the word? Integrity. You know, I'm used to these chuckleheads. They don't know what in the world they're talking about. I got to say, I disagree with all of your picks, but I understood where you were coming from. How are we doing, Meggles?
Oh, you know what? I was doing just lovely until about 5 seconds ago.
Good. You like your new nickname? Meggles? Dr. Meggles? Kind of like Chuckles, because you're just so funny.
You know what? I fancy myself as having someone who's capable of a lot of fun when I don't have my nose in the book. So I'll accept that as a fun little tie-in to my repertoire of many skills.
Okay. So you guys know why I'm here. I am here to set you all straight about who is winning FallOut. All right. First of all, first match. You guys are really going to do this to me? You put my boys, the King, Caleb Coho, and the Dream Worker, Cameron Holzman, against each other, and you want me to choose against them? Fine. You know what?
Yeah, it's called being a professional.
I'll get to you in a second, Meggles. So we got these two in a match. All right. Here's what's going to happen. These two are just going to be so good that their energy is just going to like be on the same. They're going to like radiate on the same frequency so much that they are going to become one super trivia being, like a Voltron, and then they are going for the championship. So that's what's going to happen in the first match. Match number 2 You got the Iron Lady match, right? With Hannah, the perennial loser Hannah, and my former protege, Nikki, the unfortunately has become Nikki the Black Hole Baldwin. But here's the thing. She's been a champion. You never stop being a champion. It is in you. It is in her. And it's something that Hannah has never been able to achieve. She is not going to be able to overcome it. Nikki's winning. She's got it. And then, my goodness, guys, this is the easiest match to call. The championship match. Little Boat is taking it home. He's bringing the championship back over from across the pond, down under the logs, and across and to grandmother's house. He is bringing it back home. All right. He is going to be the next Movie Battles champion. He has an agenda. He is going to wipe Movie Battles clean of all those undeservings who don't deserve to be here. And the first step is the championship. And then he and the Voltron of Caleb and Cameron are going to have the most insane championship match ever. You're welcome.
Very interesting. So you actually did agree with me on Nikki, just so we have that officially on
You
record,
got
right?
right once. You were right once, Meggles. Just the one.
Hey, so long as I hear it out of your voice, that is good enough for me. Though I think we'll have to discuss the physics of how your first match is actually going to work, because that doesn't seem
it's
possible,
gonna happen.
but
Okay. Those two are just insane. You're not gonna believe it. You're gonna have to see it in order to get it. But I gotta say, as much fun as this was, I got another thing I want you guys to know about. So, I hope you guys enjoy seeing me, because we're gonna be seeing a whole lot more of each other. Because Movie Battles FallOut, that has a nice ring to it. You know what else had a nice ring to it? The Elimination Gauntlet. You know what those two things had in common? They were my ideas. My ideas that the cow stole. He stole them. So, Movie Battles FallOut. FallOut. What does fallout mean? Well, fallout is a consequence. A fallout is something that happens because of something else. So, just like the first match, the Voltron thing, because you guys put the two best players again in the league against each other. Okay, the Caleb's ascension to the throne, because he has not been. He has been underestimated. He has not been taken seriously. So the fallout of that is that he's going to take Kelly's championship. And the fallout of the cow stealing my names during FallOut, I'm back in charge. I know you guys are so excited.
Ecstatic. Yeah. Just ecstatic. We get to deal with this
Again. That's right. So I will be seeing you two at FallOut, and all of you will be seeing me for most of FallOut. I might take a nap at some point, but I'm going to be all over the place. You're not going to be able to miss me. But for now, I'm done with you. It's been your pleasure. So bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Mm.